Sometimes you drive to get somewhere, and other times you drive to get away. A winding stretch of pavement is a reliable escape whenever you need it. And, well, so is a good song. I'm on a road trip to explore the intersection between travel and music. The best of both deliver us somewhere new and occasionally unexpected, and they often leave us transformed by the end. I'm Clint Carter, and this is Common Tread. I'm traveling today from my home in New York City with my wife and colleague, Kiera Carter. We're visiting Woodstock, New York, a small city on the eastern edge of the Catskill Mountains. For decades, Woodstock's been a haven for artists seeking retreat from New York City. Dreamland Studios, our first stop, was built inside a converted church. The domed ceiling went up in 1896, but in recent years, The National, Sufjan Stevens, and Fleet Foxes have all recorded albums beneath it. As the name implies, Dreamland is a tranquil retreat from the city that never sleeps. And the studio's manager, Jerry Marotta, is an industry legend. He spent 10 years as Peter Gabriel's drummer, and then he went on to record with Hall & Oates, Stevie Nicks, Cher, and countless other musicians.
So for more than 30 years, you've been working with some of the biggest artists in the industry and helping new artists find their way in the studio. Like, what about music today gets you excited?
You know, it really boils down to who comes in here.
Yeah.
I love working with inexperienced bands. I love that because there's no attitude and they're just so excited. So excited to come in and play, and they don't even bring half their stuff in. They're like, oh my God, he's got an AC30, like a vintage AC. I'm gonna play through that.
That's incredible to see that evolution when artists walk in and like they can really discover something.
Oh yeah, it's like a wonderland.
Yeah. How much do you think the atmosphere here affects the work? You feel it when you walk in?
That studio smell.
I've worked at studios all over the world. The thing is, always when you walked into a studio like that, you felt you're walking into this place that's like a temple. There's like a history. You know, that brings out something in people that they feel like I'm doing something special.
God.
Not everyone out there is walking through the doors of Dreamland today. It's like kind of a ginormous sandbox.
Whoa.
That's been here a long time.
Gorgeous. Why do you think artists come here instead of New York City?
We all know the city gives you an energy, a certain kind of energy. Certain people love that thing that's going on around them all the time, you know, the buzz. You take that buzz away and everything that goes along with it, and I think it's kind of like when you go sit out on a beach. You just settle in. It's sand, water, sun. Your mind starts to calm down, and I think it just helps, you know, to clear your head.
On Marotta's recommendation, we head next to a more remote studio on top of Mount Tonchi. Elaire Studios is a network of connected recording rooms filled with vintage, museum-worthy equipment. The 27,000 square foot compound overlooks the Ashokan Reservoir, which supplies water to New York City. This is where Norah Jones recorded Come Away With Me, and the property resonated so deeply with David Bowie that after an inspired recording session, he bought land nearby. Allaire's owner, Randall Wallace, is the grandson of Henry Wallace, the U.S. Vice President of Franklin Roosevelt. Randall lives here full-time, caring for the studio, the instruments, and the land.
So you've owned this place now for about 2 decades, and you've lived here full-time for 3 years?
Well, yeah, almost 4 years.
Almost 4 years. Do you feel like this property has had an impact on you personally? Has this changed you?
I would never leave here. I just thought it was just heaven and loved the views. And I'd rather live here than any place on the planet.
Wow.
This is nuts.
You know, people talk about the acoustics, they talk about the equipment, but nobody's talking about the view in most recording studios. What made you think the artist would be drawn to that?
Well, I think some of my favorite records, like recorded at Headley Grange, like Led Zeppelin, they would go to a place. Rolling Stones would go down to a gorgeous house in south of France. You'd listen to the records and you go, they're not bad. So certain instruments are hard to find, some of them are easy to find, and I'm just looking for sonic possibilities so that you get excited.
And from the artist's perspective, what is the value in being able to wander and just, look outside at these vast open spaces? Even just from inside, you can look out the window. I mean, how does that kind of inspire?
You see when you're here, it slows down. So people just sort of calm down, and that's lovely.
There's something that feels very much like a retreat when you're here, and you feel it. I felt it really fast.
So it sets the tone for their stay.
Sets the tone, yeah.
Dreamland and Allaire. They're both just a couple hours north of the biggest city in the United States. But for the artists to record there, the studios might as well be a world away. They make me wonder what else I'm missing close to home. What kind of escape can I find in my own backyard? What kind of escape can you find in yours? I'm not done exploring, and I hope you aren't either. I'll see you again on the road, on the next Common Tread.